What if I told you that the very poverty you are experiencing right now, the lack that haunts your days and keeps you awake at night, the financial struggle that seems to have no end, what if I told you that all of it, every single bit of it, was placed there not by God, not by fate, not by the economy, but by you? What if the prison of scarcity you find yourself in has no locks, no chains, no guards, and the door has been open all along, waiting for you to simply walk through? What if the Bible, that sacred book you have read 1,000 times, contains within its pages not just spiritual salvation, but a divine blueprint for unlimited wealth, abundance, and prosperity that has been hidden in plain sight? What if God Himself desires for you to be rich, to overflow with blessings, to live in the fullness of His kingdom right here, right now on this earth? I ask you tonight, with all the urgency of a soul that has witnessed the miracles of the subconscious mind, why are you still poor? Why are you still struggling? Why are you still begging for crumbs when the feast has already been prepared for you? The answer, my friend, will change everything you believe about money, about God, and about yourself. If these words stir something deep within your spirit, if you feel the trembling of truth awakening in your heart, then I ask you now to subscribe to this channel, press that like button, and leave a comment below telling me what abundance means to you. Do this now, for what you are about to hear will transform your relationship with wealth forever. There is a law operating in this universe, a law as certain as the rising of the sun, as reliable as the turning of the seasons, and this law governs all things, including the flow of money into your life. This is not a theory. This is not wishful thinking. This is divine truth, written into the very fabric of creation by the infinite intelligence that some call God, others call the universal mind, and I call the deepest reality of your own being. You see, the Bible tells us in Proverbs 23:7, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he." Read those words again. Let them sink into the marrow of your bones. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Not as a man hopes, not as a man wishes, not as a man prays with trembling lips while doubting in his soul, but as a man thinketh. Your thoughts are the seeds, and your life is the garden. If you have been planting seeds of lack, seeds of fear, seeds of unworthiness, then do not be surprised when your harvest is one of poverty and struggle. But here is the miracle, here is the glorious truth that will set you free. You can change your thoughts, and in doing so, you can change your entire life. I have witnessed this transformation countless times. I have seen men and women who were drowning in debt, who could not pay their rent, who could not feed their children, turn their lives around completely by learning to work with the subconscious mind. Let me tell you about a woman who came to me many years ago. She was a widow, left with nothing but bills and a small child to raise. She wept in my office, convinced that God had abandoned her, that life was cruel, that she was destined to suffer. I looked into her eyes and I said to her, "My dear, God has not abandoned you. God cannot abandon you, for God is within you as your very subconscious mind. The problem is not that God has turned away. The problem is that you have been sending the wrong messages to the infinite within you." I taught her a simple technique. Every night before she fell asleep, she was to picture herself holding a bank statement showing a large, comfortable balance. She was to feel the joy of financial security. She was to repeat to herself, "I am wealthy, I am prosperous. God's abundance flows to me freely and endlessly." She did this faithfully. Within 3 months, a distant relative she had never met passed away and left her a substantial inheritance. Coincidence? There are no coincidences in the kingdom of the subconscious. There are only laws, and when you align yourself with those laws, miracles become your daily bread. Now let me speak plainly to you about something that troubles many sincere seekers. There is a false belief, a pernicious lie that has infected the minds of good people for centuries. This lie says that God wants you to be poor, that poverty is somehow holy, that to desire wealth is to be sinful or greedy. This is not the teaching of the Bible. This is not the will of the infinite. Jesus said in Luke 12:32, "Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." Did you hear that? It is God's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, not a portion of the kingdom, not the leftovers, the kingdom, the fullness, the abundance, the overflowing cup that David sang about in the Psalms. God is not a miserly deity counting pennies and withholding blessings. God is infinite supply, and it is His nature to give, just as it is the nature of the sun to shine. The only thing blocking that supply from flowing into your life is the dam you have built in your own mind with thoughts of limitation, fear, and unworthiness. Florence Scovel Shinn, that brilliant teacher of metaphysical truth, understood this deeply. She taught that your word is your wand, that the affirmations you speak and the beliefs you hold shape the very reality you experience. She said that most people are rowing against the current of life, struggling and straining, when they could simply turn their boat around and let the current carry them to their destination. The current is God's abundance. The current is the natural flow of good into your life. But you cannot receive what you are mentally pushing away. If every time you think about money you feel fear, anxiety, guilt, or resentment, you are pushing wealth away from you as surely as if you were physically shoving it out the door. You must learn to think of money as a friend, as a divine instrument, as a means of blessing yourself and others. There is nothing unholy about money. Money builds hospitals. Money feeds the hungry. Money educates children. Money, in the hands of a person with a prosperous consciousness, becomes a tool for infinite good. Neville Goddard, another great prophet of the imagination, taught that the secret to all manifestation lies in assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. He said that you must live in the end, that you must occupy mentally the state you wish to experience physically. This is not pretending. This is not lying to yourself. This is the highest form of prayer. When you assume the feeling of wealth, when you walk through your day as though you are already prosperous, when you give thanks for abundance before it appears in visible form, you are impressing your subconscious mind with the pattern of success. And the subconscious mind, that faithful servant of the infinite, has no choice but to bring into your experience that which you have deeply accepted as true. This is why Jesus said in Mark 11:24, "What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them." Believe that ye receive them, not believe that you might receive them someday, not believe that you will receive them if you are lucky. Believe that ye receive them, present tense, done, accomplished, already yours. I want to give you another example because examples are the language of the subconscious mind. There was a young man who attended my lectures many years ago. He was working as a clerk, earning barely enough to survive, and he dreamed of owning his own business. But every time he thought about starting a business, fear gripped his heart. He thought of all the ways he could fail. He thought of the debts he might incur. He thought of what his family would say if he tried and did not succeed. I told him, "Young man, you are not afraid of failure. You are hypnotized by a false belief in failure. The truth is that the same infinite intelligence that guides the planets in their orbits is available to guide you in your business, but you must trust it. You must impress upon your subconscious mind the image of success, not the image of failure." I gave him a simple exercise. Every morning and every evening he was to sit quietly, close his eyes, and visualize himself in his own store greeting customers, counting the day's profits, feeling the satisfaction of a successful businessman. He was to make this mental picture as vivid and as real as possible. He was to smell the store, hear the sounds, feel the textures. And he was to repeat, "Infinite intelligence guides me in all my ways. I am successful. I am prosperous. My business blesses everyone it touches." He did this for 6 months. During that time, opportunities began to appear. A friend offered to invest in his idea. A location became available at a rent he could afford. Suppliers gave him favorable terms. Within 2 years, he owned not 1 but 3 stores, and he told me that he had never been happier in his life. Was this magic? No, my friend. This was law. This was the faithful operation of the subconscious mind responding to the images and beliefs impressed upon it. Now I must speak to you about the role of faith in this process, for without faith, all techniques are empty rituals. Faith is not blind belief. Faith is not hopping against hope. Faith is a deep, unshakable knowing that the infinite is real, that the laws of mind are dependable, and that what you impress upon your subconscious must express in your life. The Bible says in Hebrews 11:1, Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Notice that word, substance. Faith is not airy, not vague, not wishful. Faith is substance. It is the actual material out of which your future is built. When you have true faith, you do not waver, you do not doubt, you do not keep digging up the seeds you have planted to see if they are growing. You plant your seed, you water it with gratitude and expectation, and you trust the law to bring forth the harvest. This is how the great ones have always operated. This is how Abraham became the father of nations. This is how Joseph rose from the pit to the palace. This is how every man and woman who has ever achieved lasting prosperity has done so, by faith in the unseen, by trust in the law, by refusing to be moved by appearances. Napoleon Hill spent a lifetime studying the wealthy, and he discovered that there is a pattern, a philosophy, a way of thinking that separates those who succeed from those who fail. He called it the mastermind principle, the power of definiteness of purpose, the transmutation of desire into its physical equivalent. But at the core of all his teachings is this truth: the mind is the master of all conditions. You do not become wealthy by accident. You do not become wealthy by luck. You become wealthy by deliberately and persistently holding the idea of wealth in your mind until it takes root in your subconscious and blossoms into visible form. Hill understood that thoughts are things, that every fortune begins with an idea, and that the person who controls their thinking controls their destiny. Let me ask you a question, and I want you to answer it honestly in the silence of your own heart. What have you been thinking about money? What beliefs have you inherited from your parents, your culture, your religion? Were you taught that money is the root of all evil? Were you taught that rich people are greedy and corrupt? Were you taught that you should be satisfied with just enough, that wanting more is somehow sinful? If so, then those beliefs are the chains that bind you. Those beliefs are the dam blocking the river of abundance, and those beliefs must be changed if you are ever to experience the prosperity that is your divine birthright. The good news, the glorious news, is that beliefs can be changed. You are not stuck with the programming of your past. The subconscious mind is like a garden, and you are the gardener. You can pull out the weeds of lack and plant the seeds of abundance. It takes time. It takes persistence. It takes repetition. But it can be done, and it must be done if you are to live the life God intended for you. Carl Jung, that great explorer of the unconscious, understood that beneath the surface of the conscious mind lies a vast realm of power and intelligence. He called it the collective unconscious, the repository of all human experience and wisdom. But for our purposes, what matters is this: the subconscious mind is not limited by the narrow logic of the conscious mind. It has access to infinite intelligence. It can solve problems that baffle your waking reason. It can attract people, circumstances, and opportunities that you could never have planned or predicted. When you learn to impress your desires upon the subconscious, when you learn to speak its language of feeling and imagination, you unlock a power that is nothing short of miraculous. This is the power that Jesus used when he multiplied the loaves and fishes. This is the power that Elijah used when he called down fire from heaven. This is the power that is available to you right now, in this very moment, if you will only learn to use it. Let me give you an affirmation to carry with you, to repeat until it becomes a part of you. Say this now, aloud or in the sanctuary of your heart. I am one with the infinite source of all supply. Wealth flows to me freely, abundantly, and endlessly. I am prosperous in all my ways. I give thanks for the riches of life, and I use them to bless myself and all those around me. Repeat this morning and night. Repeat it whenever fear or doubt tries to creep into your mind. Let it become the background music of your soul, and as you repeat it, feel its truth. Feel the reality of abundance. Feel the joy of wealth. Feel the security of knowing that you are a child of the infinite and that it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Never forget that the power within you is greater than any circumstance, any obstacle, any economy, any limitation. You are not a victim. You are a creator. You are not a beggar at the gates of fortune. You are an heir to the throne of abundance. The same God who spoke the universe into existence dwells within you as your very subconscious mind. Trust that power. Align yourself with that power, and watch as the walls of lack crumble before you and the floodgates of prosperity open wide. When you are ready to continue this journey, ask for the second part, and together we shall go deeper into the mysteries of divine wealth and the laws of infinite abundance. There is a secret that the wealthy have always known, a secret that has been whispered in the halls of power and inscribed in the sacred texts of every great tradition. This secret is so simple that most people overlook it, so profound that once you grasp it, you can never return to your former state of limitation. The secret is this: wealth is not something you chase, it is something you become. You do not attract money by running after it with desperate hands and a fearful heart. You attract money by becoming the kind of person who naturally draws abundance, by aligning your inner state with the frequency of prosperity, by impressing upon your subconscious mind the unshakable conviction that you are wealthy now. Not someday, not when conditions improve, not when you get the right job or the right opportunity. Now. In this present moment, wealth is a state of consciousness, and when you embody that state, the material manifestation must follow as surely as the shadow follows the body. I remember a man who came to me in great distress. He had been a successful businessman, but a series of misfortunes had stripped him of everything. He lost his company, his savings, his home. He stood before me a broken man, asking how God could have allowed such suffering to befall him. I listened with compassion, and then I said, "My friend, you have lost your possessions, but you have not lost the power that created them. That power lives within you still. It is your subconscious mind, connected to the infinite source of all supply. You built your fortune once, and you can build it again if you will only remember who you truly are." I taught him to stop dwelling on what he had lost and to start affirming what he was about to gain. Every night, he visualized himself restored to prosperity. Every morning, he declared, "The infinite within me knows no lack. I am rebuilding my fortune on the solid foundation of faith and divine law." Within 18 months, he had started a new business that surpassed his former success. He told me that the loss had been the greatest blessing of his life, because it taught him that true wealth is not in things but in consciousness. Things can be taken away. Consciousness cannot. This brings me to a vital principle that you must understand if you are to manifest lasting wealth. The principle is this: you cannot hold onto what you do not believe you deserve. Many people attract money only to lose it again, not because of bad luck or external circumstances, but because their subconscious mind does not accept that they are worthy of abundance. Deep within them, there is a belief that says, "I am not good enough. I do not deserve to be wealthy. If I have too much, something bad will happen." These beliefs operate beneath the surface of awareness, sabotaging every success, creating leaks in the vessel of prosperity. You must root out these beliefs and replace them with the truth. And the truth, according to the highest spiritual teachings, is that you are a child of God, created in the image of infinite abundance and deserving of all the blessings of heaven and earth. The psalmist sang, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." That is not just poetry. That is a declaration of worthiness. That is an affirmation of your divine right to be provided for, to be sustained, to be prospered in all your ways. Florence Scovel Shinn understood this deeply. She taught that the game of life is a game of giving and receiving. She said that you must give freely in order to receive freely, that the channels of abundance must flow in both directions. If you hold on to your money with a clenched fist, afraid to let go, then you are telling your subconscious mind that supply is limited, that there is not enough to go around. But if you give generously, joyfully, trusting that more will always come, then you open the floodgates of abundance. This is the principle of tithing that is taught throughout the Bible. It is not about giving to earn God's favor, for God's favor cannot be earned or bought. It is about demonstrating your faith in infinite supply, about keeping the channels open, about participating in the divine economy of giving and receiving. Jesus said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you. Good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over, shall men give into your bosom. For with the same measure that ye meet withal, it shall be measured to you again. Give, and it shall be given unto you." This is law. This is the way the universe operates. And when you align yourself with this law, you become a magnet for miracles. Let me speak now about the power of gratitude, for gratitude is one of the mightiest forces in the universe. When you are grateful, you are acknowledging that good has already come into your life. You are affirming abundance. You are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of blessings. The subconscious mind responds to gratitude with astounding swiftness. It hears your thankfulness and says, "Yes, this is the pattern. This is what we are creating. More of this." But when you complain, when you focus on what is lacking, when you bemoan your fate and curse your circumstances, the subconscious mind responds just as faithfully to that pattern. It says, "Yes, this is what we are creating. More lack, more struggle, more things to complain about." You see, the subconscious does not judge. It does not say, "This thought is good and that thought is bad." It simply accepts and manifests. It is like the soil of the earth, which will grow a weed just as readily as a rose depending on what seeds are planted. Your thoughts and feelings are the seeds. Your life is the harvest. Choose your seeds wisely. I want to tell you about another case, a woman who had struggled with debt for most of her adult life. She came to me filled with resentment toward money, toward the economy, toward the rich. She believed that the deck was stacked against her, that people like her never got ahead. I told her, "My dear, as long as you resent money, money will stay away from you. As long as you see wealth as the enemy, wealth will treat you as an enemy. You must change your relationship with money. You must bless it, appreciate it, welcome it into your life as a friend and a servant." She resisted at first. Her resentment was deep, rooted in years of disappointment, but she agreed to try a simple practice. Every day she was to take whatever money she had, even if it was just a few coins, and hold it in her hands with love. She was to say, "I bless this money. I am grateful for this money. Money is a wonderful servant and I welcome more of it into my life." She was also to write down 10 things every day that she was grateful for, no matter how small. Within weeks, she reported a shift in her feelings. The resentment was melting away. Within months, new opportunities began to appear. A better job, an unexpected gift, a debt that was mysteriously forgiven. Within 2 years, she was completely free of debt and building savings for the first time in her life. She told me, "I never understood that my own attitude was the problem. I thought the world was against me, but the only thing against me was my own thinking." Now I must speak to you about the law of non-resistance, for this is one of the most profound and least understood truths in all of metaphysics. Florence Scovel Shinn was perhaps the greatest teacher of this law in modern times. She taught that what you resist persists, that when you fight against conditions, you only give them more power over you. The way to overcome a negative situation is not to battle it, but to dissolve it with the light of higher consciousness. If you are experiencing lack, do not fight against lack. Do not declare war on poverty. Instead, turn your attention entirely to abundance. Fill your mind with thoughts of wealth. Visualize prosperity, affirm plenty. Give thanks for the supply that is already flowing toward you. As you do this, you withdraw your energy from the negative condition, and it withers away like a plant deprived of water. Jesus taught this when he said, "Resist not evil." He did not mean that you should be passive in the face of injustice. He meant that you should not give your mental and emotional energy to the things you do not want. Focus on what you do want. Live in the solution, not the problem. Let the dead bury the dead, and keep your eyes fixed on the kingdom of abundance that is your inheritance. There is a rhythm to manifestation that you must understand and respect. This is the law of divine timing. When you plant a seed in the ground, you do not expect a harvest the next day. You know that there is a process of germination, growth, and fruition that takes time. The same is true of the seeds you plant in the subconscious mind. You impress your desire, you water it with faith and feeling, and then you wait with patient expectation for the harvest. During this waiting period, do not waver. Do not doubt. Do not dig up the seeds to see if they are growing. Trust the process. Trust the law. Trust the infinite intelligence that governs all things. Neville Goddard taught that the time it takes for a manifestation to appear depends on the naturalness of the feeling you achieve. If you can truly feel that your desire is already fulfilled, if you can wear that feeling as naturally as you wear your own skin, then the manifestation will come quickly. But if the feeling is forced, if you are constantly checking for results, if you are secretly doubting, then you delay the harvest. This is why it is so important to do your inner work, to clear out the doubts and fears, to cultivate a deep and genuine sense of having received. What things soever ye desire when ye pray, believe that ye receive them, and ye shall have them. Let me give you another affirmation, one that has transformed the lives of countless men and women. Repeat this with conviction, with feeling, with your whole heart. I am now open and receptive to the infinite riches of the universe. Wealth flows to me from expected and unexpected sources. I am grateful for the abundance that fills my life now. I use my wealth wisely, generously, and joyfully, blessing myself and all those around me. Say this every morning when you wake. Say it every night before you sleep. Say it whenever you feel fear or lack trying to creep into your mind. Let these words become the dominant pattern of your consciousness, and as you say them, see yourself living in abundance. See the bank account overflowing. See the debts dissolving. See the opportunities appearing. See the joy on your face and the faces of those you love. Feel it, live it, breathe it, and it must become your reality, for this is the law. I want to remind you of something that Napoleon Hill discovered in his decades of research into the secrets of success. He found that every great fortune begins with a definite major purpose. You must know what you want. You must be specific. You must write it down, read it aloud, impress it upon your subconscious with burning desire. Vague wishes produce vague results. Definite purposes produce definite results. If you want a certain amount of money, name the amount. If you want a certain kind of business, describe it in detail. If you want a certain lifestyle, visualize it with all your senses. The subconscious mind works best with clear instructions. It is like a master builder who can construct any structure, but only if you provide the blueprint. Your definite major purpose is the blueprint for your fortune. Make it clear, make it vivid, make it irresistible. And then commit to it with all your heart, knowing that the infinite is working with you, through you, and for you. As we draw near to the end of this portion of our journey together, I want to leave you with a truth that is the foundation of all that I have taught. You are not separate from God. You are not a creature begging for crumbs from a distant creator. You are an expression of the infinite, a wave in the ocean of divine life, a ray of the eternal sun. The power that moves the stars and grows the flowers is the same power that beats your heart and thinks your thoughts. When you affirm wealth, it is God affirming wealth through you. When you visualize prosperity, it is the infinite imagining through you. When you give thanks for abundance, it is the universe celebrating itself through your gratitude. There is only one power, one presence, one life, and you are part of it, inseparable from it, endowed with all its capacities and gifts. This is what Jesus meant when he said, "The kingdom of God is within you." The kingdom is not far away. The kingdom is not for the select few. The kingdom is within you, right now, waiting to be claimed, waiting to be expressed, waiting to pour forth its riches into every area of your life. Do not let another day pass in poverty consciousness. Do not let another night be troubled by thoughts of lack. You have been given the keys to the kingdom. You have been shown the laws of mind. You have been reminded of your divine birthright. Now it is up to you to use what you have learned. Practice the techniques. Repeat the affirmations. Visualize the prosperity. Give thanks for the abundance. Clear out the old beliefs of unworthiness and limitation. Align yourself with the infinite source of all supply. And watch, with wonder and gratitude, as your life is transformed before your very eyes. The God within you knows no lack. The power within you is unlimited. The love within you is infinite. Step forward now into the fullness of your divine inheritance. Claim the wealth that has always been yours. Live the life of abundance that God intended for you from the beginning of time. And know, with every fiber of your being, that it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. This is the truth. This is the law. This is your destiny. Go now in peace, in power, and in prosperity. The infinite goes with you, for the infinite is you.